Right, for dinner, we're gonna have beef tenderloin, and then some of this turnip green in the can. I like these. You could get these kind of can in this big one is 28 ounce at Walmart for like $1.35 or something like that. In other grocery store, they are like $2 something, which is too expensive. But even at two something, it's still worth buying for the fact that you don't have to mess with the fresh greens, and it's ready. It's already kind of been pre-cooked so that it's already tender. And usually they just tell you, and this come in season as well, but they tell you, to boil it. I don't like it that way. So what I do is, as you can see right here, I squeeze out the water. I pick it up like this, a handful, and squeeze out the water. And then I'll stir fry it along with some shredded carrots and some hot peppers in bacon grease or whatever animal fat that you have. And maybe just a dash of soy sauce. And that's really all you need. And it'll make a very good side dish. And then plus, we're going to serve it with the sugar snap, which you already know how to make that. I have video on that before already, so look back on that one. But this is one way to have extra food to store, that you could store away in your cupboards. That when you are lazy or you in a bind, this is a good way to fill your dinner. And it's actually enough for more than two people.
Right. I was going to say these are awesome. They actually all the canned
greens.
The greens that we've gotten so far, and there's mixed greens. There's these
turnip
greens. There's
and
collard greens. All from
and
the
mustard
same,
green.
And yeah, mustard greens, all from the same company, and they've all been really good. And on the point that you're making also is to go get these when they're cheap enough and stock up on them, so that way save your jars for canning things that are hard to get a hold of, like maybe the meats that
Or how about just to say that more nutritionally valuable? That and economically more valuable.
Because right now jars are hard to come by. So if you are able to come across jars, and I know a lot of you have gardens and you're trying to save the vegetables from your gardens or whatever, but to me it's like if you can jar or can meat and go out and get these canned vegetables, pretty cheap, then just use your fresh vegetables, when you pick them, just use them at that time. And then save these cans for emergencies or, when you come into a bind like you were saying.
And also, another thing about these greens, people don't realize that, in American society, we tend to just, boil them and can them in a jar. But in the Orient, like in China and Taiwan and even Japan, quite often what they do is they blanch them real quick and then rinse then cool them down real quick in the cold water. And then they let it dry, or sometimes they don't even need to let it dry. They just wring out as much water as they can, and then they salt them down, and then they dehydrate them. Some dehydrate them, some ferment them in a crock. So that will help you preserve these. And if you don't have none of that, then you could always put in your dehydrator after you blanch them. And all you have to do is rehydrate them before you cook them.
All right, we'll come back when you're actually cooking it so we can see how it's done.
Okay.
All right, she's cooking them up now. So what you got? Those are little shrimpies, isn't it?
Yeah.
The dried shrimp that you talk about?
Yeah. Chopped green onions.
Chopped green onion.
Oops. Did I use up all the garlic?
Okay.
And here's some garlic. And to enhance the flavor, a little bit of the anchovy paste. And cook the shredded carrots first, and a little bit of a hot spicy pepper in there. That's optional, same as the anchovy paste.
But boy, it tastes so good.
And you wouldn't even know that it's there.
Yeah.
If you don't tell people what you have put anchovy paste in there, they would have never know. Just ask our friend Elena in El Paso, Texas. She could tell you. She asked me if I have any sardines in there, and I told her no.
No sardines.
Of course, after she eat all the vegetables, then I tell her that there's anchovies in there. And she likes it still.
So again, this is the turnip greens that you squeezed all the water out from the can. And you're just basically enhancing the flavor of the turnip greens.
Yeah.
But they are actually already pre-cooked
and seasoned already.
So, I mean, if it came down to where you didn't have anything to cook with or whatever, you could eat it right out of the can. But this is always better.
But since I squeezed it out, they all kind of like stuck together, so I gotta get it all separated so that it'll soak up the oil and whatever. And you know, also people don't realize any vegetables that you eat, it really requires animal fat in order for you to be able to absorb the vitamins and minerals in any of the vegetables. And the fibers don't help with digestion, believe it or not. It just stop you up real good or make you have, you know, other problems, IBS problem. But with the animal fat, it lubricates your intestines. Ask me how I know. I'm well experienced all my life until I start eating more animal fat. Alright, we'll just let it heat up.
And here's the plate that it's going to go on. Already got the snap peas done and the sirloin, right?
No, filet mignon.
I'm sorry, filet mignon.
Beef tenderloin.
Yeah. Now, how did you cook the beef tenderloin?
I just season it with Canadian steak seasoning and pan fry it. Couple of minutes on one side, flip it over a couple more minutes, and drop some capers in there. And then after I take the steak out, I use that beef juice dripping and the caper and make a caper butter sauce. That's what you see on top.
So all three of these items cooked in one pan.
Again,
Say.
I hate washing dishes or pots and pans.
So you start off with the meat, cooking the meat.
Then I cook the
Then you cook the snap peas.
And the reason why I do snap pea first is because it takes longer. And then on top of that, it doesn't leave as much debris like if these kind of chopped up greens. So that way and on top of that, the greens will definitely absorb all the flavor and all the grease out of the pan.
Right.
And so that kind of essentially clean your pan, makes it a lot easier to wash.
And then
and I just put a dab of soy sauce for umami.
And then the total time for all this, what do you think?
Well, not counting the prep time.
So the cook time total?
Cook time, maybe 20 minutes. And I'm done.
20 minutes, once you got everything prepared, it takes 20 minutes to cook everything in one pot. And then you've got everything already done, ready to go. You got 3 items. You got a full meal. And of course, we don't do much on
try not to do too much carbs.
Carb stuff. So.
But sugar snap actually it's carb. But at least you got the so-called fiber that supposedly help you reduce your carb intake. I don't quite believe that, but whatever. Okay, there's your dinner.
Yes. All right. Gonna eat. Talk to you later. Bye.